Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Barbara and I'm so happy that you are here today because today we are gonna be talking about the books I plan to read in October for Spookoplathon. So October last year, the same as this year, is the month for Spookoplathon, which is a readathon hosted by Becca over at Becca and the Books. This is the board that I printed out that she shared. So this is a readathon based on her TBR game that she sometimes plays still, which is based on a Monopoly game. So it kind of like evolved. So it is Spookoplathon now, and I'm gonna just roll dice and go around the board to see what books I'm gonna be reading this month. This month I'm gonna be playing this instead of the TBR avatar. So the rules are gonna be the same. I get to pick only the books that I own for this. You roll 2 6-sided dice and see where you land. If you roll a double, you roll again and then you combine those 2 prompts. But we'll see if that happens. Maybe it won't, so then we don't have to worry about it. If it does, I will explain it more later. And I will do 5 rolls as usual. That's what we're gonna do in this video. There are some required reads I am supposed to read this month, but I thought I would, talk about it if it comes up with the game, or if it doesn't, then after we play the game, after I set my TBR for Spookoplathon, then at the end of the video I will be talking about the books that I have to read. Anyway, so without further ado, let's jump right into the Spookoplathon rolls. Okay, here is the Spookoplathon board. I'm going to be using this guy to move around the board. And here are my 2 dice. So let's go for roll number 1. And 11, all right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, let me move it. And this is Leatherface? I don't know what this is. I need to check it in the leaflet. So, the first roll we got the Leatherface. I needed to check what this means, and it means that family is supposed to be some kind of either the main plot of the book or somehow very closely related to the plot of the book. And I decided for this to actually continue reading the book I started in September for Aurelium Readathon, but I never finished. I then exchanged it for a different book that I knew I would be able to read quicker because I was running out of time. So I started this book already, but I'm only 50 pages in. So I thought I could count it for this one. And I think it fits perfectly. It is The Last Family in England by Matt Haig. This is his first fiction book that he published. It is written from the point of view of the dog. The dog is called Prince, and he is striving hard to live up to the tenets of the Labrador Pact, which means protect your family at all costs and be loyal to your human master. And yeah. And we basically follow kind of like downfall of the family and how the dog will try to save them. And yeah, I'm 50 pages in, so this far. So I think I can count this towards Spookoplathon. So this is my first pick. Okay, roll number 2. We've got 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Black, so mostly black cover. That should be easy. So we got black cover for the second prompt, and here I think this is gonna go perfectly with my Legacy of Orisha read-along, and I'm gonna be reading Children of Virtue and Vengeance for this by Tomi Adeyemi. This is the second book in the Legacy of Orisha trilogy, and on my channel we are doing a read-along. So we read the first book, Children of Blood and Bone, in August. We were supposed to read this one in September, but we kind of agreed to skip September and do it in October, and then the third one we'll read in November. And this is, I think, predominantly black cover, because, yeah, there's a lot of white hair, but like the majority of the book, like, is black. So I'm gonna count this, and I don't think I can tell you much about this one because it is a sequel, but the first book is, well, it is a YA fantasy series. It is set in Africa, and we follow our main character, Zeli, who is trying to save magic because the magic was almost killed some years ago, and now she came to possess some kind of artifacts that can help her save the magic and bring it back. And yeah, we follow her story alongside other people's stories. We have different points of views, so we're gonna continue in here, and I'm really excited to read this one. Roll number 3 is 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Ghost tour. That is fun. Nice. So, ghost tour means the book has to have some kind of historical element. And here I decided to go a little bit, fun style. And I decided to combine it with the Eldia adventure, the Year in Eldia adventure, hosted by G. And my prompt that I picked for October is put up a poll somewhere on social media and let other people decide what book you're going to be reading. So I did that. I did it on the Spookoplathon, on the Spookoplathon Discord. And I put up 6 books up to vote, but I didn't tell people what the books were. I just put up what the first sentence of each of the books were. And so the books I put up for the voting, people just didn't know what books they were. First we had The Marriage Portrait, not sure the name of the author, but I have it on audiobook. And that is about Shakespeare's wife, basically. So definitely connected to history. Second, I put In His Father's Footsteps by Daniel Steele, which is very much connected to World War II and kind of like how the family evolved from there. Third book I put was Hera by Jennifer Saint, which I think like it's a Greek mythology retelling. It is mythology, but it's still somewhat, connected to the history, I would imagine. Fourth book I put The Witch and the Tsar, which is also inspired by real events happening back in, I think, 16th century or something like that, even though it is fantasy fiction. So I put that one. Fifth book I put was The House in the Cerulean Sea by T.J. Klune, because that's also inspired by historical events in Canada. And then the last book I put was A Natural History of Dragons. Now, I don't think this one is in any way like based on historical events, but it has a natural history of dragons, so I thought I could just stretch it that far, because I do need to read that book this year for 12 books recommended by 12 friends to read in 2024. And people voted on all of these, and the one that came a winner, it was very close between 2 books. It was very close between A Natural History of Dragons and The Witch and the Tsar, and the one that won was The Witch and the Tsar. The first sentence, understandably that won in October. The first sentence being, when my owl landed on my shoulder, I knew heartbreak was not far behind. I am excited to read this one. I did start this one, I think, 2 years ago for the Slavikathon hosted by Sasha back in the day. And I really wanted to read, that's why I bought this book, because it was like a group book. And this was the gorgeous hardback cover. I mean, the undercover is not very impressive, but like the top cover looks very pretty. I love the design. And I started it and I read a few chapters and I loved it. Like, it had very beautiful writing, but at that point I did not feel like I had enough time to enjoy this book enough. And I would have to just rush through it and not enjoy it properly. So I decided to put it away and read it at some point when I feel more like I can just sit down and enjoy. We have in this stunning debut novel, the maligned and immortal witch of legend known as Baba Yaga will risk all to save her country and her people from Tsar Ivan the Terrible and the dangerous gods who seek to drive the twisted hearts of men. There is like a lot of description on like what the book is about, but you know what? I'm gonna leave it at that. It's Baba Yaga trying to save the country. I'm gonna be reading this one that fits for a historical element, and also it is the poll pick for Adventure in Eldia. Okay, roll number 4 is 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we've got spooky, noise, Okay, for spooky, I don't have much options because I do not own many spooky books. But one I picked is, I think it is middle grade / YA book, so I think it will be quick read. It's also a bit short. It is Gallant by V.E. Schwab. This is the beautiful Illuminate edition, but I still haven't read it, so I think it's about time. Yeah, I think it is time to finally read this one. Then I had also The Girl with All the Gifts, which is a horror, so I could have also read that one, but I just felt much more like this one at this point. So I'm gonna be reading Gallant. What this is about is 16-year-old Olivia Pryor is missing 3 things: a mother, a father, and a voice. Her mother vanished all at once, her father by degrees, and her voice was a thing she never had to start with. Her only companions are the ghouls she sees and her mother's journal, which captured a mind in turmoil. Near the end of her time at Maryland's School for Girls, Olivia receives a letter from an uncle she's never met, summoning her to his estate, Gallant. But when she arrives, she discovers that the letter was years late. Her uncle is dead and the estate is empty, save for her cousin Matthew and the servants. Olivia is permitted to remain, but must follow 2 rules. Don't go out after dusk, and always stay on the right side of the crumbling wall. But Gallant is a house of secrets, a house sitting in lonely vigil, a place where the ghouls are powerful. As Olivia searches for answers about her family, her past, she discovers a dark reflection of everything she knew, an ancient realm where ghosts take form, and the Dark Master sits waiting for her. I am really excited about this one. It's perfect time for it. It is kind of like a haunted house story, and I'm really excited about it. Can't wait. And last draw, hopefully last draw, if we don't roll double, is a 10. Nice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, okay. Community shelf. Not bad. Okay, and for community shelf, I did not prepare a set of prompts, but I decided to pick a card from these reading prompt cards that are by Illuminate. So I'm just gonna shuffle these and pick one. Will I shuffle until one falls out? How does this work? I kind of feel like that's the spirit in October, you know? Witchy, tarot. That's how you pick the tarot and oracle. You shuffle until a card falls out. So let's see how long that will take me. Ah, almost. Not quite. Ah! Nope, that was maybe. I don't know if this will happen, because they're not that often, not used that often, so they kind of stick together. Okay, I don't know. Nope, we're not getting one. We are not getting a card. Come on, one. Up. We got 2. Should we combine them? Let's read both of them and I pick. I've got a book with a color in the title. There you go. And the second book is a book by a debut author. So that means a debut book, right? Okay, I need to think about this. Okay, so I decided to kind of be nice to myself and pick a book by a debut author. And so I'm going to pick the book that is on my TBR already. That's like a required read for October, because it is a book for my book club, for my climate book club. And the book is The Uninhabitable Earth, A Story of the Future by David Wallace Wells. This is his only book he ever written, so it is a debut and it definitely works. So I'm gonna be using this book for this prompt. The live show will be probably at the beginning of November, as it usually is. This is a non-fiction book, so the description is not on the book, so I'm gonna read it from Goodreads, and it says, "It is worse, much worse than you think. If your anxiety about global warming is dominated by fears of sea level rise, we are barely scratching the surface of what terrors are possible. In California, wildfires now rage year-round, destroying thousands of homes. Across the US, 500-year storms pummel communities month after month, and floods displace tens of millions annually. This is only a preview of the changes to come, and they are coming fast. Without a revolution in how billions of humans conduct their lives, parts of the Earth could become close to uninhabitable, and other parts horrifically inhospitable, as soon as the end of this century. So it's gonna be this kind of panic book, you know, climate panic. Let's be all horrified about what's happening in the world. But I'm still very much interested in reading this because I think it's gonna be very interesting, like kind of look into what is happening in the world already and what the science says it will happen. And yeah, just gotta take it with a little bit, you know, grain of salt. Grain of salt? I think that's what you say, right? And yeah, just learn a bit more and see what David Wallace has to say. So this is my pick for this prompt. So this is my TBR for Spookoplathon. This is very manageable, I would say. So we have Last Family in England for Leatherface, for the family book. Children of Virtue and Vengeance for black cover. We have Gallant for spooky book. The Witch and the Tsar for ghost tour, so a historical, you know, element in the book. And then Uninhabitable Earth for community shelf, where the prompt was a debut author book. So these are the 5. But there are a few more books I want to get to this month. First of all, I have still 2 books to finish from September that I didn't finish for Aurelium, and that I needed to buy scrolls of, I don't know what it's called, but I needed to buy scrolls for both of these books. So I'm reading currently Evocation by S.T. Gibson. I'm reading it on my Kindle. And I'm reading also The Phoenix Keeper. I'm reading or like listening to it on audiobook. So those are the 2 books I'm currently reading. But I also want to read The Spell Shop. Forgot the author. I will put it up here as always. This I'm gonna be buddy reading with Diana, so I'm really excited about that. I think it's a new release and it's supposed to be some kind of like a cozy, witchy, I don't know, romance or just like some cozy fantasy book. And then I'm part in 2 more book clubs that I would like to read the books for, but I don't know if I'll get to them. It's just like, if I do, these are the books that are on the table for the month. And that is for the G's Patreon book club. The book is Graveyard Shift by Emil Rio. I have this on audiobook, and this is some kind of like novella about, I think it's like a horror novella kind of thing. So that could be interesting. This is the author who wrote If We Were Villains. And I really enjoyed that one, so that sounds good. The other book club is Pinch of Mischief, hosted by Denise over at Chaos in the Enchanted Forest. And for her book club, the book for the month is A Sprinkle of Spirits, which is the 2nd book in the Love, Sugar, Magic series. So the first book we read this month, it was A Dash of Trouble. This is the 2nd one. It's a middle grade, witchy, magical fantasy where the main characters are baking witches, so the spells are used through their baking, and that is so cool, I think. So I really love the first one, so I really want to get to this one. And then I picked 3 books from the library. One of them I definitely will read because that one I just like to read this author, and I waited for this book for months. Like I had it reserved in the library for months. So that is Funny Story by Emily Henry. This is definitely gonna be read. I loved 2 books I read by Emily Henry and DNF'd too. So we'll see what happens with this one. If the pattern continues, this should be a really, really good read. And this, from what I know, is about Daphne, who loves to say the story about how she and her fiancé Peter met, how they fell in love and moved back to his lakeside hometown to begin their life together. He really was good at telling it, right up until the moment he realized he was actually in love with his childhood best friend, Petra. Which is funny, Peter and Petra, okay. Which is how Daphne begins her new story, stranded in beautiful Waning Bay, Michigan, without friends or family, but with a dream job as a children's librarian that barely pays the bills, and proposing to be roommates with the only person who could possibly understand her predicament, Petra's ex, Miles Novak. And we can see where it will go from there. But yeah, it could be definitely a fun read. And I picked this up from the library yesterday. And when I was there, I already looked, you know, at other books, because why not? And I found 2 other books that I am kind of interested in and would like to get to. But seeing the TBR, this is not going to happen. But we'll see. Who knows? One of them is Shipwrecked by Olivia Dade. I think I heard about this one some time ago. I want to say from Noel Gallagher, but it feels like maybe it doesn't add up in the timeline because she does no longer make videos, and this was published quite recently, I feel like. But anyway, I think she really enjoyed this one, if I'm correct. And this is about Maria and Peter, who both, they end up on the same set. They have a one-night stand and they think that they'll never meet each other again, but they end up being in the same TV show or in the same movie. And yeah, it sounds cute. I love the Hollywood kind of style books, so this is gonna be fun. And then, to kind of balance it out and bring it more into the fall vibes and the spooky vibes, I found The Wife Between Us by Greer Hendricks and Sarah Pekkanen. I never read anything by these authors, but this is a thriller. Read between the lines. When you read this book, you will make many assumptions. You will assume you are reading about a jealous ex-wife. You will assume she is obsessed with her replacement, a beautiful younger woman who is about to marry the man they both love. You will assume you know the anatomy of this tangled love triangle. Assume nothing. Twisted and deliciously chilling, The Wife Between Us exposes the secret complexities of an enviable marriage and the dangerous truths we ignore in the name of love. So yeah, that is it. That's all I'm planning to read this month, that you know of. No, that's all I'm planning to read this month. It is, of course, this is priority also with the funny story. So these 6 books are the priority for sure. And then if I will have time, I will try to get to this as well. But that's very unlikely. So let's put those away. But I would want to, so we'll see. So this is the TBR. I think it's really interesting. We've got non-fiction, we've got romance, haunted house, historical fiction, not historical fiction. Yeah, historical fiction, fantasy, and then just magical realism. It's very, very wide range of books, and I'm really, really excited about this. All of these actually. Like, I'm so in the mood for this TBR. So this is it for this video. Let me know if you're participating in Spookoplathon and how it's going for you, if you did all your roles at the same time, or if you'll be doing it as you go, and how it's going so far. Are you reading your first book, second book? How is it going? Let me know. And yeah, that is it for this video. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!